You know, it's interesting. Despite how far back I feel like I'm falling this anime season, I've not actually been lapped yet. Normally this happens by about episode 5 of a preview guide. But this spring, I've not been lapped. I'm currently recording this on Wednesday, and the first of these episodes in my penultimate preview guide is actually airing on Fridays. And the only reason why it's that far behind is because pretty much every single anime this season is airing on a Friday. But other than that, are the anime I'm reviewing it today any good? And why am I doing 5? Well, the main reason I'm doing 5 is I've got 2 other anime episodes which I need to review, and I'm not leaving the last one out because I really wanted to review that one. But that's not going to be today. That's going to be in the next episode, so enjoy that when it comes up. But as for today's episode, what do I think of them? Well, you're going to have to watch on and find out, because this is a 2023 spring anime preview from a different perspective. First up today, we've got Otaku Elf, an anime about a shrine maiden who's recently started looking after their local enshrined deity, Elder, an immortal elf who, in recent years, has grown to like a different part of Japanese culture. Most notably, as the anime title suggests, she's an otaku. She is a softly spoken, very beautiful, but hugely obsessed with everything gaming and tech and anime and manga related otaku. There's not really much more to say about Otaku Elf, really. I've pretty much given you the entire premise of it in one basic sentence there. It's all about the characters and the whole premise of it being a immortal elf, beautiful, but appearances being deceiving, and her being effectively just a big slob and not really caring for her whole duty as an enshrined deity. Of course, our main character isn't the elf. It's also, we've got the main character Koito, who is the new shrine maiden, and we got her little sister Kyuzu and her class friend Koma. And we don't really know much about Kyuzu or Koma at the moment. We see Koma at school, we see Kyuzu in a bit of a segment talking about food, but most of this episode is focused on Elder and Koito, and about Koito trying to effectively shepherd Elder into doing her duty as a enshrined deity, and Elder trying to be resistant to it and trying to slack off all the time. I think where this anime really shines though is in the bond between Elder and Koito. Obviously, Elder is being portrayed as a slovenly geek right now, but she's still got her soft, gentle side to her as well, and it's clear she cares for Koito the same way she cared for him in the past before Koito became a main shrine maiden. This is going to be a general, nice, soothing slice of life anime. It's not going to really go deep into a lot of things, but it's going to have likeable characters doing enjoyable things. It's going to throw jokes here and there. It's going to be a bit of a comedy, but what slice of life show isn't comedy? Because real life is comedy. This is an anime which really took me by surprise. I saw it advertised and I'm thinking, okay, Otaku Elf, that's going to be either meh or boring or terrible, and it's none of that. It's not meh, it's not boring, it's not terrible, it's immensely watchable. It's one of the better slice of life shows airing this season, and you know how much I like a good slice of life anime. If you do want to watch this Otaku Elf, she's airing over at Crunchyroll. Next up today, we've got A Galaxy Next Door, a romance anime, it seems, based around a manga artist. This is definitely not Nozaki-kun, even if he is drawing shoujo manga, as this guy is the elder brother of 3 children. He's now an adult, he's a debut manga artist, and he's trying to live within his means and maintain his 2 younger siblings, all whilst doing a brand new career as a debut manga artist. I mean, he does help run an apartment complex, which he inherited off his family, but most of it is just about him drawing manga, and that's where he gets his money from. And so when he's falling behind because he is very picky about his assistants, he's desperate for an assistant one day, and his editor finds him a perfect assistant, and she has to go out and find her. And upon finding her, we're introduced to this stunningly beautiful lady. She looks like a rich lady, just hanging around in a park, waiting for him. As the two get back to the apartment, he finds out that she's pretty much a perfect manga assistant. She can ink, she can panel, she can do backgrounds perfectly. all apparently learnt from a really old book, and she learned to draw by effectively tracing his manga, since she's a huge fan of his. His was one of the first manga she ever read. She grew up in a rich family and wasn't really allowed to read manga and books until she got access to her nan's secret library where she was able to read his books. So we've got this manga artist and this assistant, and they seem to be forming an interesting bond. But there's more going on here as well, as she claims to be a princess from a different galaxy, and as he stings himself on her stinger, I've no idea what that's about, they sort of form a bond, a literal bond. I don't know where this one's going. It's definitely going to be a romantic comedy or romantic slice of life anime, and the characters are just really likeable. Not just our main two leads as well, the kids are nice kids. He's got a cousin living in the same apartment complex and we don't know much about her yet. She seems fun. She probably harbours feelings for our main character Ichiro, but given how these things go, I don't think it's going to go very far for her. As I think after the first few episodes, he's not going to have any eyes for anybody else other than Shiori. If you do want to watch a nice, soothing, romantic comedy slice of life series, if you like looking into the world of manga artists, this one is also airing over at Crunchyroll. Watch out guys, it's another isekai. This is an isekai with at least a different twist. See, as the title may suggest, Summoned to Another World for a Second Time is about a main character who is summoned to another world for a second time. See, a main character, many years back, was summoned an isekai to this mysterious world, and he became a hero. He saved the day. He negotiated a truce between the human realm and the demon realm, and that truce basically saved the world. For whatever reason, he managed to get back home, and he's been living a normal life with his childhood friend, going to school when a strange thing happens. The entire class is summoned to another world. And once you know it, it's the same other world he left 5 years ago. Of course, nobody recognised him there because his look so different to what he did look like last time, but apparently people don't recognise him immediately on sight despite being the hero who saved the world. There also appears to be a new war starting between the humans and the demon army. Although something tells me it's actually the queen or the king's advisor who's setting this whole thing up. I think she may actually be the bad guy. And so our main character, Setsu, ends up reuniting with his old friends. They discover who he is through interesting methods. That's one thing which I do not like about the anime. The fact that upon being slapped on the bottom, the main female knight suddenly turns all masochist on us and acts as a chair. I mean, she's not even as cute as Shout here, and yet she's trying to steal a role. Isekai Twice is not going to be an anime for everyone. It's an isekai, and people are hugely overloaded with isekais, especially this season. But this one does at least do something different. It doesn't try and make the character overpowered for no reason. We know why he's overpowered. It's because it's his second time in the world. But he doesn't try and flaunt it. He tries off and goes off and does his own thing. He doesn't become hugely egotistical or arrogant. And the whole political drama of this one is intriguing me more than the actual combat drama. I want to know what's going on in this isekai world and this war which is brewing between the demons and the humans again. Can our main character Setsu save a day? Probably, it's an isekai. But I'm probably going to watch a few more episodes to see him do so. If you do want to watch Setsu be summoned to another world for a second time, this one's also on Crunchyroll. One of the best anime to air in autumn was the first part to Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. And as we start the spring anime season, or as we get towards the end of it actually, the second part of it, or season 2 if you want to call it season 2, has also started airing. Now if you've not seen the first season, definitely go back and watch that. There will be a few spoilers in this video, so you can also skip ahead. There's a timestamp in the comments to skip ahead if you need to as well. But the end of the first season slapped, and the fallout from that is strangely absent. See, I went into season 2 thinking that season 2 is going to be a much darker series, a much more action-packed series, and watching episode 1, there's not much of that. There's a hint to it, there's a few developments around, a few new characters which we recognise from the ending of the first season, but it seems business as normal. Stella's just come back to school, and he's taken on duels again. Of course, Mirin is nowhere to be seen, because she's obviously been treated and looking after things business side, after her father was heavily injured in the final episode of the last series. And so Stella is left on her own with her housemates, and in come two new characters. Again, I call them new characters, they have been in the first season, most notably Sophie, who is a brat, but she's a Gundam brat. She's a type of brat which super cheery, super energetic, super sadistic at places, and you know she's going to get her comeuppance in a nasty way in a Gundam battle, which is the same as I like her cheekiness. And we see a bunch of other characters. Obviously, Nika's got a whole lot going on with her revelations towards the end of last season. Churatori is still awesome with her twin afro puffs, and yeah, it's pretty much business as normal. If you've watched the first season, you know what this one's going to be like. It's more of the same. Of course, there is a lot more under the surface of this one, which I really want to get to and know more about. If you watch the first season of Gundam Mercury, you know you're watching this one if you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed season 1. I'm definitely going to enjoy season 2. This one, like season 1, is also on Crunchyroll. Finally today, we've got Stella of the Theatre, World Star, an anime about a bunch of girls who dream to be stars of this Takozuka review style theatre, or it's much more cute style Takozuka, not a full-on review, and go to audition to this well-known theatre, the serious theatre troupe. Our main character, Kokona, is super bright, super cheery, super not at all confident in herself. She's clearly a good actress, but she tries too hard. And she's auditioned many times and failed many times to become a member of the serious theatre, of the serious troupe. And so she's going to do an audition with her friend Shizuka, who apparently isn't auditioning. No idea why, since she seems to be a better actress than Kokona. Along the way, I meet a German girl called Katrina, who is also auditioning and is a bit of a rich girl, Ojo-sama, German girl. Now this is very much a classic girls auditioning for a theatre troupe anime. I say classic because there have actually been quite a few of them these days. One which immediately comes to mind, and it does share a lot of similarities in the energy and the cuteness behind the anime, is Kaleidostar. Whilst Kokona doesn't have the sheer force of will of Sora, she still has the same cute, optimistic energy, the will to go on and do what she wants to do. And I think if you mix Shizuka and Kokona together, they probably are going to become similar to Sora. Or maybe Shizuka is going to be more of a Layla Hamilton route. Who knows? But this is definitely one which I'm going to be watching a lot more of. It has a drama, it has the acting, it has me hooked. I like a good acting drama anime, and this is definitely one of those. If you do want to watch World Star, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. That was Otaku Elf, A Galaxy Next Door, Summoned to Another World for a Second Time, Mobile Suit Gundam A Witch on Mercury Season 2, and Stella of a Theatre World Star. 5 anime series, of which I enjoyed most of. In fact, I pretty much enjoyed all of them. Join me next time for the final 5 shows. Until then, bye bye.